Amanda Collier, and I'm doing an informative speech for a public speaking class. Here I have 5 people that are supposed to listen to my speech, so here they are. I also have to show proof that I did cards for the assignment, so here they are. Like I said, I'm not sure if you can see them or not, but here we go. Having a voice is something most of us are fortunate to have. We learn to say our first word before we even take our first step. It is important to be able to communicate with others, especially when something happens such as a rape, or being beaten, or anything else of the sort. As an adult, we're able to do that, but when you're a child, you're a little less likely to be able to do that, especially depending on your age. The younger you are, the less likely you are to tell someone that something bad has happened to you. What can a baby do if something has happened to them, or a 2-year-old if they're molested? Everyone should be more aware of child abuse and what it really means, because children are defenseless victims who cannot speak or don't understand how to get the help for themselves. Child abuse is broken down in different types, not that one is better than the other. Physical abuse is the infliction of physical injury through punching, beating, kicking, biting, burning, shaking, or any other use of harming. Doak 7. Sexual abuse is another type of physical abuse. Sexual abuse includes fondling with the child's genitals, intercourse, incest, rape, sodomy, through anything through prostitution or product of pornography material. So anything that's obviously for older people. There are reports of physical abuse that happen to children in the news, on the internet, and even reflected in some authors' books. In an article dated in September of this year, a woman was charged with child abuse after her child was admitted to the hospital with several fractured ribs, a fractured skull, and a fractured arm. The 5-month-old mother, who was only 22, was charged with first-degree assault and risk of injury to her child, Nickerson. What's the sad part about it is the baby was helpless and the mother admitted to doing it. And that wasn't the only case this year. Those who have been abused, whether physical or mental, have been known to attempt to commit suicide or harm themselves. I know this because my sister tried several times after being told by my father that she was overweight, fat, whatever type of word that you want to use, he used it on her. Words can hurt just as much as being verbally abused. Physically and verbally, they're both just as bad. Or psychologically abused. Is important to understand how these things come out. Recognizing signs of abuse is very important. Children who are abused show signs of feeling suicidal, displaying anger or rage, using drugs, alcohol, fearing certain adults, avoiding home, being aggressive and disruptive. The other signs can be bruises, scars, and cuts, any other type of physical markings that aren't normal. Noticing these things are important, just as a first step. A lot of times child abuse is reported to Child Protective Services, which is also known as CPS. A lot of people just refer to it as CPS, which refers to this, the service provided by an agency authorized to act on the behalf of the child when the child's parents are unable or willing to do so. Doak 13. So, in other words, if you're unable to take care of your child, or they feel like there's something wrong in the home, whether it be physical, mental, or anything like that, CPS will get involved if they feel like they need to. It is important that we protect our children and provide security for them. I know that at my school, they noticed that I had bruises when I was younger, and they called right away to check on me to make sure everything was okay, and CPS did do an investigation, which should happen in every case, whether it's really there or it's not. Just by noticing your important abuse, you are making a big difference in that child's life. You could even be saving the child. In 1994, 7-year-old Megan Kanka left her Hampton Township, New Jersey home to see if her friend Courtney Foster wanted to play. Her friend was not available, so as she was walking back home, she wasn't, but like maybe 2 houses away, walked home, and she saw the neighbor, and the neighbor asked if she wanted to see if she wanted to see his puppy. And of course, her being young and being back then, before everything, we heard everything about kids getting kidnapped and whatnot, she went, and that was the last time anyone saw her alive. She was found the next day. About 100 people were looking for her. She was raped, she was strangled, She had plastic bags still wrapped over her head. She was found just the next day. Because of what happened to her, and the fact that the guy Jesse was a sex offender, there was a law set in place to protect children. So Megan's Law is actually a collection of laws that requires neighborhoods to be told if certain high-risk convicted sex offenders move into your community and must register at the police station where you live. So President Clinton signed a federal version of Megan's Law in 1996 to protect communities from child molesters, Folder 7. Not only is Megan's Law a result of child abuse, but there are also many other laws that are enforced to protect children. So there's also the Amber Alert, which obviously if a child is missing, we put it on social media, we watch it on the news, we get alerts, we get text messages, we're told when a child is being taken or is missing, and that's one of them. There's laws on child pornography as well. There's laws to protect children from being physically and mentally abused. What people need to remember is that we want to try and help prevent these cases, prevent abuse among children. No child at any age, whether they're 10 or any age at all, should sit there and have to tell anyone that they were sexually molested or abused. The best way to deal with being abused in any way is to get professional counseling. It's important that we be there for them and be patient because it's going to take some time to heal. Gordon, 72. The importance of getting help is understanding the causes and effects of child abuse. You want to help before it's too late. There have been tons of cases where child abuse has led to death. In the famous case of the 5-month-old Brianna, she was abused 13 years ago, and she was raped, flung across the room. She was bitten and brutalized until she died. Meeks. I know this is a horrible tragedy because none of her own father and her mother did it, and her uncle. It is sick to think that anyone would do this to an innocent, precious baby. Her father, there was also a case where her father suffocated his 4-month-old daughter in a laundry basket because he wanted to go get a beer. He left